Yo, what is up, Crockxen clan members, Poker fans, and others who will stump on this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're here with Week 4 preview of the Elysian League draft, or Draft League. And once again, I'm joined by my friend here, Joey.
Yo, what's up?
And Week 3, I will say this, it was okay. Without me involved, the matches weren't hype enough, man. But like, you can't just, I don't know, man. Two of the matches, unfortunately, we're not able to go through because one was from technical reasons, and the other one is just that we couldn't get a hold of the person. So two matches already out the gate just did not happen. One of the matches had way too many hacks. uh, the other ones were, one was a win from behind, which I guess that was honestly the only hype match.
They both were actually.
No, I'm not counting the other one. That was just bad playing. I'm sorry. I don't even think he watches the videos, but I don't want to say names, but you played like ass. I'm sorry. So realistically, there was only one good match in that entire, set. Uh, I mean, that's just me, obviously. Other people have different opinions, but to me, there was only one good match in that entire group. Um, I don't know. But we're gonna go into week 4. Week 4 is looking pretty nice. Andrew has the bye week this week, so he can rest up and think about his future strategies. The first matchup that we have going up is again me versus Nakreen. So it's the Lugias versus the Retaliates, and we're both kind of in the middle. We're in the middle of the bracket. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna come in strong. Okay, I'm not gonna back down. Looking at Nakreen's team, I pretty much have to make sure I wall a lot of his threats. Mega Scizor, as well as his Landorus and even his Latias. I basically already have things that can deal with them, or not deal with them, but wall them. I can get a burn on the Scizor, which is always gonna. I mean, I need to get a burn on the Scizor. If I burn the Scizor, that thing is pretty much useless. Landorus, if it does not have knockoff, my Bronzong pretty much walls it, as well as his Latias. Um, my Darmanitan takes care of the Scizor. I can come in and Flare Blitz. I can also take care of his two grass types, his Scyther, and his Emolga with a Rock Slide. Uh, what else does it mean? I am thinking of bringing. I mean, Raiku's obviously. I'm gonna need Raikou. I need Raikou for that Vaporeon, because realistically speaking, I have nothing for his Vaporeon, barring my Raikou. And I mean, I could bring in Cradily, but Cradoly's not gonna be doing shit. Whereas, I mean, if I bring Raikou, I can deal with the Vaporeon. I can potentially deal with the Flygon and the Salamence. So I mean, it's better for me to just bring Raikou, and it's also a great pivot. I mean, the moment that Landorus is dead, I can both switch freely without any worries. So. But for the most part, I mean, he does have a lot of threats. If he brings a Scarf Landorus, that is going to be a problem because Scarf Lando does run knockoff. The regular defensive one does not. So I basically have to find out. I basically have to play to find out whether that thing has knockoff or not. But I can also burn it with my Weezing. So that's basically what's going on. I basically have to make sure I wall most of his Pokemon. I burn the threats, and then I should be good to go. As long as he avoids getting burned, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be fine because Mega Scizor is definitely a powerhouse and a top contender. So I definitely need to be careful because I do not have too much. If my Weezing dies and my Bronzong dies, I basically have nothing for his Mega Scizor. So, but yeah, so I don't know, Joey. What do you think?
I'm thinking it's going to be a very close game. I mean, uh, Nakreen has proven himself to be a decent competitive battler. He has had he had a bye week in there as well, so we've only got to see him twice, as well as see you battle twice. So, um, I mean, it'll definitely be an interesting result, and I like the fact that I mean, you guys are separated by one differential point, right dead in the middle of the table. So it's almost a season-defining game at this point. At this point in the season, so can't wait to
Whoever
see.
wins goes up to the top. Whoever loses go down to the bottom.
I wouldn't say like straight to the top or bottom, but
I mean the upper
yeah,
echelon.
yeah. What like one of you is gonna go higher in the table, and one of you is gonna drop down lower in the table. Um, and I mean, you don't want to be dropping down lower. You want to be rising. So it'll be interesting to see.
The second match is between the Tortugas versus Joey here. I mean that one is definitely going to be a tough matchup for both players. They both have things that can deal with the other's team. So I mean I expect it to be a close match, just barring the fact that Joey doesn't get hacks every time. It should be a decent match.
I mean, can't help it, but I think some things that'll definitely decide the game is how well North will use his offensive threats. He has, I think, his team is definitely built to be hyper offensive with Mega Low Punny,
Bisharp,
Bisharp, Talon Flame, Reuniclus. It's not so much hyper offense, but it sets up. Unless he sticks a life orb on there and goes like 3 or 4 attacks, then that's also scary. And then Golurk, Scrafty, like his lower tier mons, they don't hit as hard as his upper tier mons, but they still apply an offensive presence that you simply cannot overlook. So
Miss Maggot sets up a nasty plot, son. Woo!
yeah, it's there's a couple mons on his team that I will not be able to outspeed, barring any choice items or priority. So I mean, I just have to hope I play my cards right, and try to come out of this week unscathed.
The third match is going to be the Magnazones versus the Gardevoirs. Now, both of these teams actually came from forfeits last week. Magnazones coming from a win due to a forfeit, and the Gardevoirs coming in with a loss from a forfeit. So it's really hard to see and kind of analyze what might happen in this matchup. Obviously, the Magnazones are still looking to prove themselves, being basically at the bottom of the ladder, and the Gardevoirs. I mean, we need to get in touch. I do think that the team that the Gardevoirs have has a lot of potential, which is why it really hurts to not see her battle, because she does have some threats on her group. So it really, I mean, if based on teams, based on the teams, I believe the Gardevoir have a slight edge. But I mean, again, it all because of the lack of matches. It's really hard to see where they would fit in the meta right now in our group, because we just haven't seen her battle since the first week. Um, Whereas the Magnazones, I mean they've proven that they can come in. It's just that because of last week and not being able to see them battle, we can't see how they if they've learned from their previous mistakes, and how they're looking forward and how they build their teams now. But I don't know. If we do see this matchup, uh, from a team perspective, the Gardevoirs do have a slight edge, but I mean, because of the lack of battles, I honestly can't say who could come out on top in this one. Joey?
I mean, I actually see a little bit different come to team preview. I think a Jirachi Mega Venusaur core is something that I don't really see any way that Charlotte can break through with that, unless she carries Shadow Ball on Gardevoir. But even then, an Iron Head basically takes that out, and a Sludge Bomb from Mega Venusaur kind of takes it out. So that
Chandelure is a thing.
Yeah, I mean there is some other things in there. Chandelure, it doesn't really do much to Mega Venusaur though, so that's
Psychic? Play specs?
I mean, I'd never really heard of a Chandelure running Psychic on there, so we'll see. But I mean, there's that, and Swagsire has brought some innovative creativity to his team. We haven't seen much of it because of last week's forfeit, but I mean, Thundurus Incarnate, or not Incarnate, Thundurus Therian, Haxorus, Slurpuff, Ambipom, Sneasel, Rhyperior, Gorgeist are all things that he can bring in there that can, weaken, take down. I mean, a Sneasel can take down Chandelure pretty easily. And then, if Chandelure's gone, there's not much that's going to stop Jirachi and like a Jirachi Venusaur core. So, I mean, I think I give the team matchup slightly to the Magnezones, but I mean, it still comes down. It's not enough that you can just decide from team preview who would win that.
Now the next matchup is the Kentucky Fried Combustions versus the Miltanks. This is honestly, I am looking forward to this match the most because it's basically true hyper offense versus stall. Like, both teams have the complete opposite here. It's either the unstoppable force will break through the wall, or the immovable object will just stop everything in its path. So, I mean, we have the Combustions, who have right now the lead of the MVP race with their Tyrantrum, sitting at a nice 7-1 record. And the Combustions really have to work around this whole stall tactic, because all the cores that the Miltanks have potentially having, if you have a special defensive Rotom Wash with a physical defensive, I think what did I say last?
Jellicent.
Damn, Jellicent. If that core in itself puts in so much work against the Combustions team, so he's gonna have to figure out a way to work around that. Obviously, depending on whether Swishy brings that, but Swishy is coming in from a victory or from a forfeit win, so we still don't know how she will be able to play this matchup. The Combustions are looking to maintain their offensive, the presence. They have, I mean, after that week 1 loss, they have been just striving through. They have won their last 2 matches fairly, pretty decently too. So they're trying to make a statement, and I mean, I'm really looking forward to see how this goes. It's just a matter of whether he can tear down the walls a little bit at a time, or the walls can just make sure that you can't do shit.
Yeah, I see. The big decider in this one is whether Swishy's Weavile and Jolteon, if she brings both of them, or even a Mega Slowbro, will be able to do enough attacking damage to the point that the Combustions eventually fall. Because if if Swishy can't assert enough offensive presence with her wall, then the Combustions can basically just keep firing off hits until Swishy eventually goes, or Swishy's team eventually drops. The Miltank's problems with, I think, with their first 2 weeks with the losses were they had the walls and they were able to tank the hits, but they just weren't able to dish out enough damage in return. So that's going to be the big key for them.
The one thing I do have to say is that, I mean, that her Tangrowth has surprised everybody. Every week that it has shown up, it always takes a kill, and it does not like you need that Pokemon, and you get trapped, it's gonna die. We've seen this happen already twice with your Excadrill and North's what is it, Scrafty. So if she traps, let's say the Azumarill is dead, if he traps the Tyrantrum because Tangrowth is a very defensive wall, and the way she's been using it, Tyrantrum is more likely gonna die. Uh, because it gets trapped with the infestation. She sets up the Leech Seed, protect Leech Seed, infestation. Tyrantrum is basically gone. Um, I don't think. I mean, I know Tyrantrum hits hard because it hits hard, but I don't know if it hits hard enough um, to kill the Tangrowth before it can set up all its shenanigans. Um, Plus the fact she does run Giga Drain, I believe.
Yes.
So that's already another way to regain health. Plus she has the leftovers. It's just he needs to be careful because if that Tangrowth comes out on the field, it's gonna trap something and it's not gonna be happy to be there.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Tangrowth is something that's going to be a little bit of a problem if it traps the right thing, but I don't see why, as long as the Charizard Y is still around, and even the Aerodactyl and the Crobat and whatever else he might bring, I mean, those are pretty safe switches into Tangrowth, so I don't know how much work Tangrowth will really be doing, but it's still a threat nonetheless. But
yeah, you can't sleep on it. It's basically what I'm saying. If it traps the right thing, it's a warning. It's gonna die. No matter what you want, it's gonna die. So Sableye, the the Azumarill, the Tyrantrum, or the last his any of his Enumons, Slacking, Luxray, or the Stoutland, is gonna die. Essentially.
yeah,
So
we just got to see. We just got to see if the Combustions can take down enough walls, or if the Miltanks can assert enough offensive pressure to just slowly wear down the Combustions attackers and then finish them off to the point that nothing else can really do anything.
yep. And then the last match is between the Stunfisks and the Future Sights. So this is actually one of those times where I have to say Porygon, which is the Future Sights, they have the advantage. Looking at the Stunfix team, first off, you have one Fire type in Heatran, which, I mean, it's a good Pokemon. I'm not gonna deny that. But the fact that the Future Sights have a Mega Beedrill that can potentially run Drill Run, that's automatically dead. They have one actually decent, or good flying type in Honchkrow, because the other flying type is Golbat, and Golbat doesn't really run offensive. You run it defensively with an Eaglite, so there's not too much offensive presence that thing can have. So I mean, Honchkrow can put in a little bit of work, but I mean, there's just too much. I mean, I need to. The thing is, if Porygon brings the actual U-turn, Poison Jab, Drill Run, Mega Beedrill, there's nothing on Adam's team that can deal with that because a U-turn is a free switch, plus because of adaptability and stab, that is taking a huge chunk out of anything. Uh, the moment that Heatran is dead, and the moment that Garchomp is dead, Volcarona sets up freely, and then just kills everything else. With the setup of Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, and Fire Dance, just that +2, nothing on the team is going to be too happy to be taking that. Joey?
Yeah, the Stunfisks on paper look like they're the second best team. I mean, they're 2-0. They've won both their games pretty handily, but you know, if Porygon brings the right things to this match, he definitely has the team matchup. I mean, Volcarona is basically the only thing holding that thing back from setting up and sweeping is Heatran and to some extent Garchomp. And then, Mega Beedrill with Drill Run definitely takes care of that Heatran. And if it's a U-turner, it just gets a huge hit off of basically everything on that team. Whimsicott, Uxie, Mineshaw, Mew, Celebi, Gastrodon, to some point Rotom Fan can all come in and be used effectively to basically help those two, I believe, just sweep through whatever Adam brings. So if Porygon brings the right team, which I believe he will, I don't see a great way that the Stunfisks can work around it. But it'll definitely be interesting to see.
Yep. So it's a tough battle for the Stunfisks. Of course, because they do have a winning record right now. They do. I mean, you might be leaning towards that team, but I mean, Porygon, you got lucky this week. I mean, you basically, if you bring in with the right mindset and the right team and the right the right plays, this could potentially, your Volcarona by itself could easily just jump up the MVP race this match. Just from setting up alone, because not too many things can take a Volcarona hit, because that thing is a freaking monster. So good luck to both teams. Obviously, the future sides are looking to climb their way out of a hole, and the Stunfisk, I mean, they have to try to keep their reign basically. Now, as I said earlier, the Braviaries have a bye week this week. Hopefully, they take the time to analyze what happened in the last matches that they participated in, what they did wrong, and maybe try to come up with some new strategies coming into week 5, to maybe have some offensive pressure, because some of the sets that I've seen him bring are not the most optimal in certain situations. So hopefully he takes the time to just think and analyze, and maybe he might have a good matchup in week 5. I'm gonna pass it off to Joey so he can talk about the MVP race real quick, and then we'll go from there.
All right, so at the top of the MVP race is the Combusken's Tyrantrum. It's got a +6 differential with 7 kills and 1 death. So it's definitely out in front. Second place with a +5 differential with 6 kills and 1 death is the Sunfisk Suicune, and then right behind them is we got my Manaphy at the third spot with 5 kills and no deaths at the +5 differential as well, but it comes in behind Suicune in the MVP race simply off of kills being the tiebreaker. The Tortuga's Heracross has 4 kills and no deaths, so it's got the +4 differential. And then I have my Forgus and Entei with both 3 kills and no deaths. And then rounding out the rest of it is your Mega Gallade with a +2 differential. The Atlanta Braviaries Togekiss, and the Mega Glalie from the Stunfisks, all having a +2 differential.
Now, if I may ask, what happened to Nakreen's or the Retaliate's Mega Scizor?
That is up there as well. I believe it's at a +4 differential now. Completely forgot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking about it. It was like that thing is still supposed to be in the race, but I mean the combustions, like I said, that Tyrantrum is definitely not to be messed with. That thing is a powerhouse, but like I said, if the milk tanks the milk tanks trap it, it's not gonna be too happy. So he needs to make sure that tank growth does not trap the Tyrantrum.
Yeah. The Scizor, the Mega Scizor has a +4 differential.
Okay. All right. I believe that is it for the preview. I'm looking forward to some of these matches. Obviously, I think my favorite is going to be the Combustions versus the Miltanks. Hopefully, we can get the Gardevoirs in action again against the Magnezones. See where that goes. And yeah, so I'm glad to be back for week 4. Nakreen, I'm coming for that ass, man. Okay, I'm coming for you. I'm not gonna come back and lose like that. Okay, I'm just gonna say that right now. So we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, Joey, any final thoughts?
Should be an interesting week again.
Again.
What? Always an interesting week, man. Always an interesting week.
Optimism sometimes is not always a good thing. I'm just kidding. Alright, guys. Well, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been SoresanCrockxen with my boy Joey.
Take care.
And we'll see you later.